Hey guys, back working on the 2006 Dodge Ram Mega Cab. Doing a 5-inch rough country suspension lift. This is a 1500, but the Mega Cab is built on the 2500 frame, so that's why, if you guys notice that, it's for the 03 to 07 25 3500 Dodge Ram. So first step, it tells you to undo the top shock mounts. So I'm going to go ahead, get those all taken off on the top side. Driver's side doesn't look too bad. Passenger side may be a little more difficult to get into, but doesn't look too terrible. So I'll kind of get started on this. I may try to do a little more. I know the back, I didn't really go into much detail as far as doing it. It's pretty straightforward. You jack the truck up, undo the U-bolts, put a spacer in, new shocks, and put it back together. It's not a whole lot to it. The front here, I'm not going to video the actual steps, but I may kind of go along with some of this, what I'm doing, and then if there's anything I run into that's a little more difficult, I'll kind of go over it as I hit those spots. So yeah, I'll cut back here in a minute. All right guys, got that side off. Use an impact if you can get it in there, a hell of a lot easier. Trying to hold that small wrench on top, especially if your shock's been in here for a while, you're gonna have a hell of a time turning it. So use an impact if you can. Definitely can on the driver's side. So I'm actually gonna pull this air filter box out, and I'll cut back here in just a second once I get this out of the way. Guys, got the air filter out of here. As you can see, gives me plenty of room to get in here to the top of the shock, put the impact on it, and run it off. So again, if you're trying to do this with a wrench, what I was getting at earlier was you can put a 9mm wrench on the top and an 18 down here, but trying to hold that 9 while you're turning this off is pretty difficult. So a lot easier to just take the air filter housing off and go that route. So I may have to go get a hammer. I'll cut back here in a second. What I'm doing, I have to pull this top piece and the rubber bushing out, and then we'll go to the underside of the truck. All right guys, got the truck up on jack stands. Got both sides, got the wheels off, so I'm starting here. Basically all I've done so far is take the bolts loose up there on the top of the shock, undo this side on the control arm, and now I am pulling these off. I'm gonna try to do one side at a time. I actually stuck the jack underneath this. The instructions really don't say anything about that, but it takes all the pressure off of this upper one. If you just pop it loose, everything kind of falls and hangs down. So putting the jack underneath it just to keep some of the weight off everything until I get stuff pulled apart. So I'll cut back here in a second. Hey guys, it's another day. I didn't get to record as much as what I'd like. Working on this truck and doing this front part of the suspension. A lot of that's due to the fact I ran into some issues. Ended up taking me about 7.5 hours to get to where I'm at now. Again, I ran into a couple issues. I'll go over those here real quick. Number one, the Pitman arm. I ended up breaking a Pitman arm puller. Could not get the damn thing off, so ended up cutting it off. And then once I finally got it off, I literally probably worked on that for over an hour and a half. By the time I tried using the Pitman arm puller, I had messed it up. Ended up going down to Napa, getting another Pitman arm puller, put it on, snapped the ear off, and like I said, again, ended up cutting it and putting another Pitman arm puller to finally get the damn thing off. So took a long time to get it off. And then once I get it off, I get everything put together, I'm getting close to being done. I go to put the new Pitman arm on, and I don't know if this picks up on camera, but it's not even close. Yeah, I've called Rough Country this morning. They are sending me another one. This number does match, it's what's supposed to fit it, but it doesn't. I even went up to Napa this morning thinking, hey, maybe my gearbox is different, something's odd. But the one they've got in store is the exact same splines and everything, so it doesn't fit it either. So anyway, that was probably the biggest issue. Some of the other stuff, we'll kind of crawl underneath here, so you guys can see pretty much got the shocks, coils, all of the braces, everything in. Again, one thing I did do is they told me to go get my steering stabilizer nut that came in that kit. If it fitted, then you know it's the right gearbox. So yeah, it fit fine. So see what happens. They're shipping the new Pitman arm. It actually shipped today, so hopefully I'll get it. But one thing I ran into on the rear control arm on that side back there, that's another piece that it was a little too narrow. I don't know how well that's picking up, guys, sorry. Right there was actually a little bit narrower on the lower piece than what it should have been, so I had to actually grind the spacer down on that control arm a little bit to make that fit. But outside of that, the rest of the kit mounted up really well. Probably the hardest part, honestly, is drilling the 12 holes in the frame right through there. The passenger side's not too bad. The driver's side, let me see if I can get around here to it. There it is. Getting into there on this side with the drive line and everything right there in the way was probably the hardest side to do. But again, honestly, it's very doable. Again, I did this in my drive, or kind of in my drive / garage, on jack stands. So like I said, really wasn't that bad to do once you kind of figured everything out. I had some additional steps. I had to take the stupid coil spacers that they had on this truck originally. I had to pull them out. Well, then my bolts were too long, so I had to cut these down. Just some extra things that I had to do on this truck just because of the way it was done. But yeah, I mean, this kind of show you guys all the bits and pieces, but still haven't got everything tightened down. So kind of the plan at this point, once I get the steering stabilizer, or the not steering stabilizer, the new Pitman arm, and it fits, then I'll get all that installed. I'm actually going to put a new gearbox in as I do this. That gearbox seems okay, but it is starting to, I don't know if you guys seen earlier in a video in the beginning of this, there's some oil, like it's starting to leak a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it since I'm here. And then I'll be putting the steering stabilizers as well as the steering gearbox bracket and stabilizer as well. So and get all that put in at the same time. So hopefully that'll come in and I'll be able to finish this thing. I do have the control, I think this wave bar or whatever, I've still got to finish that, but I'll step back here. So that's what it looks like. That's pretty much what it will look like. Just I'll get the rest of the front end finished up. But again, it just, you know, that Pitman arm honestly kind of kicked my butt, so it took a while. But yeah, the back's pretty simple, guys. You can, I mean, there's not a whole lot to that. So but other than that, this is where the truck's kind of at right now. I do still have some other plans. You know, one big one's the seat. I think the truck, that's unlocked. Getting the seat replaced, the two front seats replaced, and then doing the different radio. So that's two probably more expensive things or bigger things I still want to do to the truck, as well as I would like to get the fender flares put on it. Kind of cover this up, more just to cover up that tire. It does, the tires do stick out a ways, so I've got that stuff. Still got tail lights and headlight I'd like to put in it. Paint's probably the last thing on the list, and I'm at this point, I don't even know if I'll even do that. I may leave it like it is for a little while, but anyway, it's getting there. Looks a lot better than it did you know what, 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was when I got the truck. So I've done quite a bit to it already, but definitely hoping this improves really honestly the handling in the front. I feel like the way they put them spacers in and crap in the front. It just felt like the front was light, I guess, kind of, I don't know, just had a weird feeling. So again, I'm hoping replacing all this crap in the front, it'll feel a little better going down the road, because honestly, when you're pulling a trailer or hauling stuff in the front, already kind of feels fluttery or light, and then you go stick a trailer on the back of it. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest feeling going down the highway. So hoping this takes care of all that. One other thing I plan to do is probably put some airbags underneath the back, and that's just more to take some of that load off, because I do plan to use this truck a little bit for pulling stuff. So that's why I didn't go any higher than this lift. Again, this is just the rough country 5-inch, and it's plenty tall. Again, it comes up to my chin, so it's quite a bit higher than it was for darn sure. So again, guys, I really did want to do a full install kind of video, or do a little more step by step, but man, putting this in is a lot harder than, I don't want to say harder than what I thought, but you know, it is quite a bit, to be honest. If you're really not familiar with this type of stuff, I probably wouldn't even recommend somebody attempting this. You know, I don't know, it just a lot more to it, a lot more labor, I guess, to it, as far as drilling the holes and then just getting everything undone, than what I was kind of expecting. But again, very doable. Just if you guys plan to do this, or somebody's watching this video, man, hey, know that it's not just going to be as simple as pulling some parts off and bolting it in. It does take a little bit to get it done, but it is doable. And honestly, if somebody had the time where I was kind of forced to get it all done in one day, if you had the time where you could leave it up on the jack stands for a day and do half of it and then come out the next day and finish it, I'd be a hell of a lot easier. But yeah. So anyway, if you guys have questions, feel free to comment below. And yeah, hopefully I'll have another video here in the next few days with this truck finished and hopefully on the road. So thanks again for watching. Love it if you hit that like button and subscribe.